Sanguinis Breaking. Breaking news reaching us now. The leader of the indigenous people Biafra Nnamdi Kanu, has been arrested, extradited to Nigeria, and is right now being arraigned at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Kanu is facing charges bordering on treasonable felony instituted against him at the Federal High Court.
It was an unjust war. Long ago, in the heart of Biafra, a nation was born from the ashes of war. A war that scarred the land and its people, yet it never killed the spirit of freedom.
The war aim of Biafra is purely to prevent ourselves being slaughtered, nothing more.
It was in this land, scarred by conflict, that Nnamdi Kanu was born, a son destined to revive the dream of independence for Biafra.
And if anybody is going to judge our success and failure in this war, it will have to depend on how much we have prevented the enemy from killing us.
Raised with the echoes of his ancestors' struggles, Kanu understood that the wounds of war ran deep in the hearts of his people. The scars from the Biafran War, which ravaged the land and cost countless lives, had never healed. The dream of an independent Biafra, broken but not forgotten, lived on in the hearts of those who survived. It was these voices, these memories, that called him to action. As Nnamdi Kanu grew, so did his voice. He became a preacher of justice, a messenger for those who were unheard. He spoke not just for his generation, but for all those whose lives were shattered by the war. The pain of the past was alive within him, and his words resonated with the cries of the oppressed. But as Kanu's message spread, so did the fear of the establishment. His calls for self-determination grew louder, shaking the very foundations of the government. They feared the revival of a Biafran spirit, one that could awaken the wounds of the past and ignite a new conflict. And so, they moved against him. Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, his body captured, but his spirit unbroken. The authorities believed that imprisoning him would extinguish the fire he had started. But they failed to understand the depths of his cause. The pain of the war, the bloodshed of the past, was not something easily forgotten. It was a flame that could never be fully extinguished. His arrest became a symbol of the struggle that began in the blood-soaked fields of the Biafran War. The demand for freedom was still alive. The fight for justice continued, not just for Nnamdi Kanu, but for all the lives lost, for all the children born into a world of scars. The fight for Biafra is not just his fight. It is the fight of all those who have ever dreamed of a free land. And though the past may haunt the present, the future is still unwritten. As long as the story of Nnamdi Kanu is told, as long as the voices of his people rise, the dream of Biafra lives on. Arrested again, 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 and yet again.
I agitate for Biafra. I agitate for Biafra. My right to agitate. My right. They turned it from disabled felony now to terrorism.
This is Nnamdi Kanu speaking. Biafra land, listen. They thought they could silence me, but they didn't just cage me. They caged your spirit. They made you forget that our land still bleeds, that our people still suffer, that nothing has changed. 5 years in chains. But what about you? Are you not free? Or have they bound your voice with fear? The struggle was never about me, it was about you, your children, your land, your future. So I ask you, where is the fire that once burned in your heart? Where is the voice that once roared for freedom? Wake up! Rise again. Speak. Act. Remember who you are. This is Nnamdi Kanu. All hail.
Akara m ihe mbe na-eme mbe si ma atụrụ ofu ugbo enyi ma nke ọzọ mụ atụrụ ihe niile ma ụkwụ ya ma aka ya na isi ya bụrụ ya anyị ga-adọbiri wee pụọ na nke onwe anyị chigata azụ etu anyị nọ tupu ndị ọcha wee bịa ebe a nwa aha obodo ebe a nwe ndị mmadụ na-eme tupu nwa bekee si ebe o si hapụ obodo ya ọ bịa ebe a ọkpọrọ onye nke ọkpọrọ okeke ọkpọrọ okafọ nakọta anyị isi ọ sị n'ụbọchị nke taa na anya ha anyị kwụsị Naijiria anyị na-aza aha na-enwe obodo n'ime ya ihe mgbadụgasị biko kọwara m ihe Naijiria pụtara wee kwe kọwara m ọmụa ka ha aza aha osimiri ka osimiri ga-aza aha mụa n'ihi ihe anyị na-ekwu bụ na ebe a nọgidere ụlọ ala ọ jọgburu nwunye ọ dịghị mma Naijiria gaghị emekọtakwu ya ọzọ ihe ọjọọ emego n'obodo a arụ emego egbugo ndị be anyị aka na-egbukwa anyị ndị Fulani wechiri na mabata be anyị ka na-egbukwe ndị be anyị n'ụtụtụ echi a na-asị m na ọ ga-adị mma oge ọ na-ekwu ka enwe mmekọrịta bụ nke ndị ụlọ nke ndị ụmụnne ha ekwesịghị anyị ọtụtụ mgbe ha kpara anyị asị onye kajọ na-ajụ onwe ya ha jụrụ anyị aja ama njụ onwe anyị agbanyeghị na anyị nwe ngwa ahịa n'ugwu Awụsa agbanyeghị na a na-azụ ahịa ebe niile dị iche iche na-eme nke ọma kama onye gara ndụ paakụ onye rere ihe niile ọ ndụ bisi ka anyị na-ekwu okwu ya ka eche aka azụ ebe a ruo obodo anyị ka o wee maa mma wee nke aka obodo ndị ọcha na mma ọhịa anyị na-arịọ nwoke na ugwu nwee mkpanye ugwu n'ime onwe anyị ọnwa anyị pụọ n'iro a na-etigbu anyị pụọ n'iro ekwekwasị ọbụla ma anyị ji wee kwuo okwu ọnwụ ihe ndị a ka a sị na anaghị anabatakwa ya ọzọ
akụkọ akọrọ anyị bụ na ọkụkọ na elu ebe na nzukọ anụmanụ ọ na-emezi mgbe ọbụla a chọrọ ịchụ anyị ikiri ọkụkọ ịchụ anyị mgbe ọbụla a chọrọ ime ka Naijiria dị n'otu nwe ha na-ekesi ekpa akụrụ ndị Igbo ọ pụtara na anyị bụ ọmọgbu ka ọ pụtara na anyị agaghị nzukọ mere ya bụ eji eme anyị ndị ọbara ndị Igbo ahụ kwafuru Naijiria aka ọ bụ site n'akpamasị nyere eme anyị dịka ihe mee ndị etu kampani na-ege iche iche gba ụmụ na-asị a na-ekwu ha afọ niile aka na-ekwu ha o wee ruo oge ugbu anyị asị na ogbugbu a na-egbu anyị na ọ dịghị anyị mma ọ ka mma na onwe ihe ekegbu anyị bụ nwere onwe njem aka anyị na-aga kamara na-esi echeta n'ụtụtụ asị na onwe onye kwuru ebe a onwe ha na-ekwu odo ụlọ anya onwe onye na-aka ụkọchukwu n'ugwu awụsị ebepe isi ọnwụ ofu ugboro ọnwụ ugboro abụọ ọnwụ ugboro atọ ọnwụ ugboro anọ ọ bụ ruo ole mgbe ka a ga-egbugide anyị wee rue anyị asị mba na anyị ga-abịa ka anyị nwee ike wee nwere onwe anyị ọ ka mma na anyị nwụrụ ebe anyị na-azọ nwere onwe tupu na anyị nọ n'ụlọ etuba mmadụ bụ ọbata n'ime ụlọ mbịa kpukpu isi.
We have made it very clear. Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Simon Ekpa is the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic of Nigeria. Know this and know this. Once you know this, you will know this. But if you refuse to know this, you will never know this. I remain the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic of Nigeria, and as a matter of fact, I remain in charge. And if you don't want me to be in charge, bring Nnamdi Kanu out. Stop all this nonsense of Nnamdi Kanu control Biafra from prison. It doesn't work. It can never work and will never work. We are well-educated people, very sensible people, very smart generation that you cannot deceive. You don't expect too much. You will change the name completely. And the government in exile will take full charge. By then, if they do anyhow, we will continue to demand them to release Master. That is probably going to shock the Biafrans. Master Prophet. Yeah. Master Prophet. Master Prophet that I'm caught up with you and your family. So, what you don't know is freedom and freedom. If you have followed me from the one, I have never deviated from this struggle. And if, like I said, if you have succeeded,
Welcome. Thank you for joining us wherever you are joining from. On this evening, Sunday sermon, we are going to kick it off before we speak from memories, from stories, from histories. I want us to listen to some very important historical event that happened during the Civil War about the life of our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu. It is important we pay attention to this very topic because I believe there's a lot of things to learn in it. I want us to pay close attention to this very video I'm about to play, that we can understand some certain things that happened in the past that we overlooked and how it happened and why it was so. So I want us to pay attention and listen to the interview that was granted to this Biafran veteran, Kanu Osinu, author of Ojukwu Exile, Diplomacy and Survival. I want us to pay close attention to this man and what he said on this very video. There are very important information he revealed. You know, as we are still pursuing the cause of Biafra, still engaging in different kinds of things, it is important we pay attention to history. What transpired? What really transpired in the past? What are the mistakes so that we don't make those mistakes again? What really happened? Why is it that we are seeing what we are seeing today? The hatred, the attack, our connection to the Yorubas. What really transpired? Were there this hatred all the while? Were there some supportive? Is it 100% attack, or there were some of them who were working actually for the benefit of Biafra? So let's pay attention on this program so that we can be able to understand some certain things.
That the presence of mind, the experience from his father, my father's company, and government support. I know the book is about SI. Yes. But I have the opportunity to
discuss with Ujuku's personal assistant that have written a book with a chapter, so many things are left unsaid. I will try to extract as much as I can. But let's come back to ESI. Ujuku landed in Cote d'Ivoire. How was he able to adjust? How was he able to survive for the first 3 months?
The government of Felix, Dr. Felix Ofoboye, did everything humanly possible for Emeka to settle down, reorganize his life, and face reality, the reality of the Biafran collapse and the hostility of the Nigerian government at the time. So he adjusted quite frankly, I must tell you, very fast. And Ofoboye played a critical role. I remember he told us, we didn't accompany him, he told us that Ufot called him one day into the office, 5 months into his exile, and told him that what would you want to do? What type of business are you looking at? Are you going back to school? Or are you? Emeka said, I'm from a family of transporters. Ujuku transport. You can't talk of Nigerian economy without talking about Ujuku transport. So I would like to start transportation. He gave me money to buy tipper. He started with tippers, yes.
He gave him money.
Yes.
But I thought Ujuku's father was a billionaire. Was Ujuku broke?
He wasn't broke, but he had no access to the money at that particular time. Ufot gave him money, told us. Ufot gave him money, which he started with moving sand from the riverside to construction sites. This type of tipper that carries sand, go to the site, the driver will press something and it will offload by itself and it goes back. That's how it started. With 12 trucks.
He became a businessman.
By 2 years, the 12 trucks had multiplied 8, I can tell you, to 100. The man, the Ofoboye, was shocked.
He was such a good businessman.
Oh, yes. If you gave me 12 vehicles to start the transportation business, and in less than 2 years, you can count, don't even need to ask. The staff, they are the drivers, everybody. They were all Ivorians, 100 and something, and counting.
How was he able to do it?
Because he had the presence of mind, the experience from his father, my father's company, and government support. Because most of the constructions were government was supplying sand to sites.
A typical Igbo man.
A typical 24/7 Igbo man working like man.
So he was not relaxing.
And Emeka was fond of employing the best, like his father. When you have somebody like Colonel Pierre Barangé, a retired French army officer with a lot of administrative experience and exposure, what do you expect? Barangé was in charge of security, administration, and businesses.
His family went with him on exile?
Yes, his wife was there.
Yeah, I saw the picture in your book.
Yes, Chide was there. The mother was there. But the mother was not living with us in Yabusoka. The mother was in Kwake, which is their second city.
Where was it so?
She chose somewhere she would do her business. She's into a restaurant.
What about the children? How did he cope with his children?
Oh, he did so well. Frederick Forsyth played a great They were school in Ireland. Emeka was in Ireland. Okim was in Ireland. Jimmy was. He sent them to that place. He want the patronage of his fatherly. This ensure that they were brought up under very strict discipline, Catholic discipline.
And he was able to take good care of them.
Oh yes, every holidays is physically at the airport to welcome them. Every holidays is physically at the airport to send them back to Ireland. He's such a good father.
Was he worried about the Igbo nation in exile?
He was. And he was. Not only the Igbo nation, he was worried about Eastern Nigeria. We're in contact with the woman anymore. We're in contact with so many of them in today's Bible. We're in contact with Gogo. He was in contact with so many of our people.
Tell me about him a bit. I heard he was a good propaganda news.
Oh, but he was broadcasting what he got on his desk. Some people wrote it.
He was such a popular voice during the
He
war.
was. Intimidated these people to stupor. His delivery, he wasn't writing those
He would put it on his table and he would deliver.
Chinua. Achebe himself.
He was instrumental in that.
He was instrumental in that direction.
This part is very interesting. I want you to see the role the media played during the Civil War. Just like as we are at war with Nigeria now, there are roles that every one of us in the media has to play. That is why it is important to pay attention to this very part. That the battle of Biafra was fought with intellectuals, people that have the knowledge and wisdom. They provide the materials, the information, the words, and those in the media decimate it, like Okokondem that is just mentioned and been described. You can hear Okokondem name was very pronounced, but the people that were giving him the material were Chinua Achebe and other intelligentials, and they were giving, and they were doing marvelous and great work. I want you to pay attention. You learn a lot from this, so that in this new generation of Biafra that we are fighting, you will know what you are supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. It doesn't have to always be about gossip, competition, who is this and who is that. We should allow the intellect, people that have the knowledge, to come in and do what they have to do. And when you see them, embrace them. Listen carefully in this program, you will understand the division of labor that played during the time of the Biafran Civil War.
Was instrumental in fighting for recognition of Biafra. Hey, come on. We were to get 3 recognitions in January. All the countries have told us is hold the ground up to January 15. We'll recognize you.
And you got the recognition.
No. Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone. Have you read Eddie Rose's book? 48 guns for the general.
I've not read.
Oh my God. You see my name, he acknowledged it. I gave him the material. Eddie is alive today, he's in UK.
You see the role the media played in recognition. Listen carefully how Biafra fought for recognition during the Biafran Civil War. This is a man who was a personal assistant to our eternal leader, Dim Odumewu, telling you what really transpired. Pay close attention. You will learn a lot from this video. Listen to him, how they fought for recognition and the people that recognized them and those they were expecting before they surrender finally. Listen to hear what transpired. Very important.
We were to get 3 West African recognitions by January 1970, but it needed to cross January 15. Jaja Stephen.
Or Sierra Leone.
Africa
Okay.
said the same. The three had promised and committed their countries.
You got Zambia.
Zambia, after the war, I can reveal to you that it makes one cry. The first person who sent relief, they make one look. After the war, sent his envoy to bring him cash. We're going to eat. Was Kenneth Kaunda
Of Zambia.
Oh, yes. Tanzanian man was more sympathetic, but Tanzania doesn't have this.
That's why
Julius,
he wrote a letter to it.
it was a very longish letter. I don't know why I didn't make photocopy of that letter. It could have been in this book.
But if you
But I read it.
you read the letter.
Yes.
What was in the letter?
The letter spoke of he praised him. He praised the heroism of our people. Kind of, when I don't try, you have made a point. It is now left for us diplomatically to tell these people to stop the genocide.
Genocide.
Yes, it was more than 11-page letter.
So where's that letter today?
I don't know.
Maybe you could keep the letter.
I don't know. I read it.
How do we find that letter?
He should have kept it somewhere.
Where are those documents?
Julius wrote 11 or 12 pages. This thing. All call it condolence letter. What has happened has happened. Take it like that.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Aid.
Kenneth Kaunda also wrote a letter.
He wrote a letter, but it was 1.5 pages. I had a photocopy of that, but I think I lost it in Accra when I was packing to a new hotel. It was, I don't want to have what to pay, but he accompanied it with this. Not Zambian money, because in that letter he made it clear that it's not money from our treasury.
Even if you had the letter, you wrote in this book that you wouldn't have published.
No, I couldn't have.
Because he had harsh words for the Nigerian authorities.
Yes.
Tanzania recognized Nigeria.
He did. Zambia.
Yes.
Gabon. Yes.
And Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
Azikiwe played a huge role, right?
He did.
But today, some young persons in Igbo land tend to write Azikiwe off.
Yes. I think the anger is clearly traceable. It's clearly traceable to the way he exited the Biafran struggle. You don't keep young boys 19, 22 years in the trenches, and they're announcing to us that we have got to Liberia to consult top man to beg Yakubu. It wasn't proper. There were also those who disagreed with America's policies. Wechwe, for instance, from Ogwash, I think is a relation of Ngozi Ukonjo. They disagreed at a point. He was Biafran ambassador to France, Biafran representative in France. But he didn't just quit. If he gave Emeka advice and he's not taking it, it's not for you to call a press conference and say, I'm going to Liberia to meet top man. After meeting top man, I will go to Lagos and meet Yakubu.
Perhaps Six saw that Biafra was not going to stand the Nigerian firepower at the time.
Yes, that may have been his conclusion or his assumption, but I don't think he got it all right. That's the anger we have. And if you look at my book, there was no time Emeka sent me to MPP person.
You didn't even mention Azikiwe.
No!
Because I was looking for Azikiwe in your book. I didn't see Azikiwe.
No, Emeka would not send you to an Azikiwe protege or his Chiwobodo was his man in Edu.
He was disappointed in Ziki.
We were all disappointed in Ziki. That's the truth. Any other thing somebody else is telling you, Ed, is being diplomatic. We were disappointed. And throughout our exile, I don't know when Emeka sent me or a marker or Emeka in Nigeria to a Zik associate. I don't know. He sent me to, in his book, to Tunji Braithwaite, for instance. He sent me to Awu. He sent me to a lot of people. Dr. Kanebia at Omana in Africa. He's in the book.
He didn't send you to Zik.
Never did. Even in our consideration after the formation of PDF, which was our negotiating ground.
The Popular Democratic Front.
Yes, that was what he found in exile and said, if Aid wants us to support him, he's going to negotiate with PDF as a body. He never said those things.
So even on returning to Nigeria, he was never going to join Zik's party.
No. I can tell you that. Even though I had kind of withdrawn, I started building a family. I had a wife, I had a son. And I told him this was properly ironed out in exile. Only easy. As soon as he landed, I would like to face my NTA job. What was the salary at NTA? After PDF, MPF, Nigerian Provident Fund, and NUJ, Nigerian Union of Journalists Deduction, was going on. My wife used to call me 555. 555, that was my salary. And we're paying for a 3-bedroom flat at Ikeja, maintaining a small Renault car.
You amaze me.
You do too.
The way Ojuku was sending you about, we were jogging from Accra to Cote d'Ivoire, sometimes you move into Togo to Nigeria. You were on a mission.
Yes.
What gave you the guts?
The courage came from the nature of our struggle. I lost 2 uncles in Kanu. That was why throughout the war, it looked like my father had 3 wives. My father had only my mother. The other 2 uncles who sent their wives back to the east when the pogroms started, lost their husbands. That was why when I came back to Nigeria and they insisted that I would have to do youth service. And there was, not rumor, because the vacancy in Beduki, yes, vacancy in Kanu. I told them I'm not going to any part of the north. I was very, very clean and clear about it. I'm not going to any part of the north. That was why that pregnant woman said, there's no vacancy in Lagos, I'll put you in my state. Isn't it?
Close to Lagos.
Close to Lagos. It says 45 minutes. That's why I served Inugu Radio. And I was the best youth company in Inugu Radio. People are still alive today.
You kept moving. Your first trip, you remember it to Nigeria? This man in Nigeria, he was an organizer. He was so smooth.
Very smooth aid.
And when he left, you ran into trouble.
I ran into big trouble because all the grounds that they covered smoothly became vacant and I became vulnerable.
And because of that, you spent 3 years in Kirikiri?
Yes.
This Nigerian guy was the head of Biafran Student Union.
He was.
Ujuku somehow knew how to spot this guy.
Yes.
He was a very good network.
He was.
When you landed, the way he ferried you from Lagos, I was just looking at that network. You can be an intelligence officer, you know.
Yes, but Nigeria is not a place where your talent is utilized.
I felt I recruited you for Mossad or CIA. Because your experience in Biafra, you are not an ordinary citizen.
Hey,
that's how I see you.
Hey, you can say that again.
Because I saw all the movement.
Yes.
At some point, you were in the Hague schooling.
Yes.
You were demonstrating.
Yes. When Ganifa was arrested here, they sent me front page of Daily Times. Through fax, it arrived. I mobilized African students. Their signatures are there. If the publisher wanted more this thing, I had about 4 more pages of those signatures. Say, Gani, the lawyer who saved you, I said, yes. I said, we occupy the Nigerian embassy. Lapai was writing letter to me, said, if you have grievances, please can you come over and we'll talk it over. Don't mobilize students to come and occupy the embassy. What Lapai, and I said it in the book, didn't know was that technically I was not a Nigerian as a student.
You were using UN documents.
You all arranged by Chukwemeka
in ESA.
Oh yes.
His network kept broadening.
He has all the network. He had all the sympathies. When I came to see your friend, the minor ball body, I didn't come with United Nations passport. I hadn't acquired one. I came on Sierra Leonean papers.
So you came in Sierra Leonean passports?
Yes.
Arranged by your Juku office?
Yes.
That network?
Yes.
Now let's look at what happened to King Pepo. King Pepo was banished from his kingdom.
Totally.
Because of Ujuku.
Because of the Biafran war, yes. Ujuku, yes. If Ujuku personified it.
You interviewed him when you landed?
I did. That's why I put it there. The editors removed a part of the interview.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe space.
He paid for the love of Biafra.
He paid dearly.
He loved Biafra.
He did.
He followed Ojukwu to Ethiopia in 1968.
Yes.
During that peace meeting.
At Addis Ababa peace talks.
And that was one of his offenses.
That is one of his crimes, in quote.
And he was dealt with.
They dealt with him and he died miserably.
Sad. When you met him in Aba, what was he looking like?
He was looking frail.
He was sick.
He was looking sickly. I almost started crying because I used to see him on television. Robust, healthy. He was now almost a skeleton. That's it, that photograph. He called the photograph. And when I gave him what Emeka gave me to give to him, he started crying.
Kings also cry.
Yes, kings also cry.
But his son is the king now.
Yes, the son is a king now.
And it was J.T. Spieth that banished him from Rivers.
Totally banished him. Supported from Lagos.
The others of Gowon.
Yes, of course. You couldn't have done it all alone. And you begin to ask yourself, hey, what was this man's offense? What crime did he commit?
He had sympathy for Biafra.
He had sympathy for Biafra. He accompanied the leader of Biafra to Addis Ababa for peace talks? Is that an offense? Did he go to buy arms? Did he go to buy bombs? Did he go to recruit pilots? That aspect turns me emotional. How that man was diminished.
But by this time, there was no victor, no vanquish.
That was the grammar that they were pushing to the international community. And that was one of the responsibilities of America. To make sure that this no vanquished, no victor, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and all the 3 R's, they were all grammar. You are rehabilitating people and you are giving my father, with all the money he had, with the AC, the African Continental Bank and Melverton Avenue, Aba, they are giving him £20. That he withdrew money during the war. If he didn't withdraw money during the war, how could he have fed his family? And the thing goes round. Chuks Lebanon will give you his own experience from his own father too. Can you give my father £20? He had a lot of money at this.
Was Awolowo wrong for that policy? Or is it go on? But Awolowo was the commissioner of finance.
No, but the ball rolls and remains at the table of Jacob. What people call that policy was engineered and pushed down the throat of the federal government in February or March 1970 by Chief of Biafra. It doesn't make any sense.
To an extent, I agree with him. The ball stops on the table of the president. Gowon was the president. You know, most times we tend to channel that very crime to Awolowo. That economic idea, even if it is Awolowo that suggested it to Gowon or whatever, the ball stops on the table of Gowon to approve. Without the approval of Gowon, it will not happen. It will not happen. So sometimes when we try to shift that blame on Awolowo instead of Gowon, who was the president then, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So to an extent, I agree with him on that side. And so many other explanations he has made. I want you to pay attention. There are certain things we need to extract from this very interview. Because some of us, sometimes we move through emotions. We speak out of emotion or just based on what we have heard or what someone told us. Sometimes we need to think within our own self critically, weigh different kinds of information that are coming from different angles. When we weigh this information, we can be able to ascertain what to do and what to believe. So I want you to pay attention and listen carefully to the information that he's passing.
The book stopped on his table.
You met people, but you could not meet Kanu.
Yes.
Why did Ojukwu have message for Kanu?
He was the governor of Eastern region. He was a man who had renounced his British knighthood. Said no person should call me Dr. Francis Ibiam anymore. He changed to Dr. Akanu Ibiam. A great man. A great man. He was in touch with Emeka through Emeka in Nigeria. I was to reinforce something which he wanted me to do personally. But when I arrived in Wana, that's a village in Africa, they said he just left. This security man asked him, I said, I cannot go without seeing this man. Can you give me a telephone number in Enugu? I'm going back to Enugu. He refused. So I didn't get to see him. But I met another stalwart, the Bishop of Port Harcourt, pre-war.
Were there countries funding Ojukwu in exile?
Funding in the sense of eating food and putting food on the table and paying school fees?
Because while I was reading your book,
yes,
I saw the movement, the networking, the hotel accommodation, and I kept calculating. This is huge budget. Who is funding this movement? I kept asking myself, as I was going to ask you. Outside of you being a businessman, because the budget was huge. You see the movement, you fly.
Bringing Ghanaian editors.
Everybody, even coming into Nigeria, that budget was huge. Many countries funding
Emeka was funding himself.
His businesses were doing so well.
Businesses were doing very well. CDC was doing well. Phoenix African was doing well. Dow was doing well.
Yes, at some point, you met your Waterloo. You sneaked into Nigeria. So by this time, you were preparing to go study in Germany.
West Germany.
And on your way to Frankfurt, after you had come to do your networking in Nigeria, by this time Emeka was gone. Emeka in Nigeria was out of the country.
Exactly.
You've done your work, and at the airport, the Nigerian authorities arrested you. How did you feel at that moment when you were called to step aside?
Okay, I was heading to Forsyth. Emeka Ojukwu had arranged for further studies for me. It was at the airport that I checked in my luggage, and one young man, I would say, I still remember him, about 40 years ago, but I still remember him. A little on the shots came and said, "Excuse me, are you Mr. KP Isinono?" I said, "Yes." "Have you checked in your luggage?" I said, "Yes." "Please come and show me your luggage." It didn't occur to me that it was security. So I said, "That box and that small bag," he extracted them. So when he extracted them, he said, "I will take you somewhere." Now I asked him, what's the problem? He said, "I will tell you what the problem is." That was how the trip was aborted. So from there to Molori Street, then police headquarters. From police headquarters to Kirikiri. No, to Alamo. Alamo to Kirikiri.
What was your offense?
It's in the book. That I, at that age, was in charge of all the anti-Gowon propaganda abroad.
Was it not true?
I wasn't, no.
But Ojukwu was in charge.
Emeka was in charge, but
you had public relation companies working for the Ojukwu network in Switzerland. You stated that?
Yes.
And
Mark Press. Mark worked for Biafra throughout. That was why our story was better heard outside than Yakubu Gowon's.
And they kept working for Ojukwu in Esa.
Yes, up to a point, because the contract had not been elongated, but it hadn't expired.
And you are Ojukwu man.
Yes.
Coming into Nigeria at different times to bring in news and take out news. Is that not true?
And to accuse me of being in charge of anti-Gowon propaganda abroad was making me larger than I was. There were organizations that didn't like the collapse of Biafra, and therefore was working against Gowon and his regime. Luckily, by this time, the unpopularity of the man has started growing, even within his own military. Emeka was monitoring events from Yamoussoukro, that the man was not doing well, that the Nigerian economy was getting down. And we were hoping it is not that it is really down, that this thing is getting down. And I don't know why they were thinking that Emeka in Nigeria and Ghana is the only people in charge of you. They are anti-Gowon propaganda.
But you were a prominent link ferrying Ojukwu messages into Nigeria. and taking messages out. Even in Ghana, you were critical to the organization of Ojukwu messages. The Nigerian authority was not wrong, don't you think so?
Yeah.
You wrote that. Look at the book we are talking about. Look, this is a book you should read.
Thank you very much.
It's a book you should read to understand why I am insisting that Kanayo Isinulo knew a lot. Perhaps you need to write another book. To get this book, go on darabooks.com. You'll find this book on darabooks.com. You can also order through our WhatsApp numbers. The numbers are on the screen. I'm telling you, this is the book of 2024.
Thank you very much.
A lot have been written here. So they got you. The Nigerian authorities got their man.
They were very happy. You can see it on their faces.
Because
they were talking in some suppressed tone.
Before I got to that point in the book, the suspect became saying, they catch him. I don't catch him. We're sneaking in and sneaking out. So when we got to that airport, I kept waiting for them to catch you. I said, man, I was not saying they didn't get it. That means the Nigerian intelligence network is poor.
Yes.
Because the way you were coming in,
I'm
going out. And I must say that, anyway, so from the airport
to Mononi Street,
from that street,
police headquarters,
to Kirikiri.
You
spent 3 years.
3 torturous years.
What happened to Kirikiri?
Well, they put me in if you like, a room. Solitary confinement, you can see. My dad came, sent a lot of his brothers and extended family. They didn't see me. It was in one of my uncle's trip that somebody referred him to Chief Gani Fawayimi. Took him to his chambers, then at Surulere, and narrated what happened. My uncle didn't deny that I wasn't with Ojukwu in exile. He didn't. But he said there is nothing this young man did that has offended the law. I'm not a lawyer, but let Gani handle it. Gani gave money to my uncle to enter Chidebere. Now is the young motors and all these ones are young. Chidebere then. Gani gave my uncle money to go back in his leave everything for me. Took him to his chambers, invest some statement, signed some papers, that's all. Gani took it. It was Gani that forced them to take me to Ibobi Hospital. Reluctantly, I was limping. It's in the book. I was limping. I couldn't walk straight. Heavy arthritis. Alhaji Kamsalem refused to take me to hospital. Gani pressured. I was taken. Dr. Ishola Abutu, professor then, handled my case. Gani went to court and said, Abutu, come and tell us what you are curing this young man of. He issued a statement. Gani took it to court. It's in the Daily Times publication. Produce detained newsman.
Gani was the arrowhead in the struggle.
He was the arrowhead. That was when I saw him lying in state at his residence at Antoni, dead. I don't know who came for that burial that didn't know that somebody was not just crying, but mourning. I couldn't believe that Gani is lying in a box.
You dedicated this book.
I dedicated the whole book. Even if I'm going to write a second one, I'm going to dedicate it to Gani Fawayimi. His type is rare. Very uncommon man.
He didn't think you were an Igbo man.
No. That's why when some people talk about tribalism, Igbo do this, Hausa do this, I keep laughing. My best friends are Yorubas.
This aspect is also important. Some of us sometimes we go so extreme out of emotion, including myself. Sometimes we over speak about this issue of tribalism, but there are still some Yorubas. Undoubtedly, there are still some Yorubas who are still 100 in support of self-determination of the Biafran people. During the Civil War, there were so many of them that were so sympathetic, very, very sympathetic. In as much as we know that today, the president of Nigeria is someone who is very, very tribalistic. And that is why the tribal divide and the tribal margin between the Igbos and Yoruba have grown wider than before because of the person in the front line. He is a very tribalistic man who, I can say, from his action, his deeds, has seen not to like the Igbos because he wants to please the Fulanis that gave him the power. Not just that, even before he became the president, he has been going through that direction. As you know, for you to buy the heart of the Fulanis, you must be able to show them that you hate the Igbos. That is something that nobody can deny. But are there Yorubas that know about our plight, that are aligned with our plight? There are many of them there. But we have come to a situation where majority have believed that the only thing that can make you to be relevant in the contraption called Nigeria and in the hand of those who claim to be operating that country is to show how hateful you are to the Igbos. That is an established fact. But are there Yorubas that are very friendly to the Igbos that do not like what is happening? There are many of them. I want us to listen carefully. Pay attention.
Even in your book, it struck me, and I want to read. I want to read from your book. You said, as I pointed out earlier on, yes, the real battle for my release from detention, yes, began with the late Ganifa Wemi in full command. Amnesty International had already deployed its global network to devastating effects on the vicious Gowon regime. Yes. The growing notoriety of the regime provided Amnesty International and other bodies, including the international media, the moral high ground for the effective prosecution of the case for my freedom. General Juku was pushing from Cote d'Ivoire, yes, and making use of all his diplomatic contacts. Exactly. But Ganifa Wemi was the commander-in-chief in the struggle for my release. May soul rest in peace. One can now see clearly why I detest and condemn tribalism and any form of ethno-sectionalism in all ramifications and shapes. Hey, you got it. It is most unfortunate that the twin vices have taken solid roots in our society today.
Absolutely.
Just take a look at the persons, all critical intellectuals and professionals that assembled themselves without any financial prompting or payment or inducement in my defense, not minding, as it were, the obvious risk that the brutal Lagos regime was capable of unleashing on them. Exactly. You mentioned their names. Ganifa Wemi. Yes. Olu Onogorowa. Tai Solari. Tai. Wole Shoyinka. Yes. All Yoruba men. All Yoruba men. I sent a copy to Professor Wole Shoyinka 3 years. They fought for you. He did. All of them. You came to Nigeria. You went to Tai Solari. Yes. On many occasions, Ujuku sent you to sort out Wole Shoyinka. Yes. At some point, Shoyinka had to fly to Abidjan. Yes. To meet Ujuku. Yes. Shoyinka loved Biafra, right? I can say that 10 times. He didn't. You see, Wole was involved in getting Nigeria to be better. I think so. He didn't like the Pope. He didn't like and remember that he had very good friends, Chris Okibo, Chino Achebe.
good friends in the East. So what is Yakubu Gowon trying to do? To put him in prison till 1969, October. For doing what?
For going to Igbo land.
For going to Igbo land to facilitate peace. To ask why we're abandoning Aburi. That was his offense. Like the Amayana of money. People seeking for peace. Yakubu Gowon put. So when people begin to praise Yakubu Gowon, he's a man of peace. Man of peace, and the thing that happened in Asaba happened. Emeka still remembered the killings in Asaba.
The Asaba massacre?
The Asaba massacre was massive. Like the Calabar massacre. People don't talk about Calabar when they entered Calabar. When they entered Calabar, they massacred as many people as they did in Asaba. But why the Asaba own happened before the glare of the world press. They killed a lot of people in Calabar.
Before I miss this point,
yes,
because in this book, at some point, when Ojukwu knew that Murtala Mohammed had been killed,
yes,
in the Dinka coup,
yes,
let me not misinterpret you. Was Ojukwu happy?
No, what he told me, I don't know whether I captured it in this book, was poetic justice. That time I didn't get the meaning, but it was later. He said poetic justice.
Did he smile when he said that? Remember, Taiwo was also killed.
Let me tell you, I was coming to that. In that coup aid, 2 principals were killed. Murtala Mohammed and Taiwo Ibrahim. These were the 2 people who commanded the killings in Asaba.
And Ojukwu remembered.
We all remembered.
Because you mentioned that in this book.
We all remembered.
And it sounded like good riddance to bad rubbish.
Why must it be 2 of them? And somebody tells me that there is no God. There is God. Why 2 of them specifically? The killings in Asaba were massive, brutal, wicked, inhuman. Ibrahim, took direct orders from Murtala Mohammed to mow those people down.
Is it connected to Nzogu coming from that area, Obana?
It could.
To deal with, Nzogu.
It's from Obana.
So he took out Ahmadu Bello.
Oh, yes.
And now we are in Nzogu's territory.
Yes.
We have to start
to revenge and kill. Oh my God.
But it was war.
It was war, but what has that got to do with defenseless people? They were not soldiers. Those people killed.
But somehow Biafran took its pound of flesh, the River Niger crossing. Remember?
Yes.
Biafran soldiers massacred Nigerian soldiers.
Yes.
And many of them were coming from that Asaba end.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You like it?
Yeah, it was true. Ahmadi was positioned to make sure that they didn't cross the Niger safely, and he deployed his battalion and team, and they fought very well. Did Onitsha fought throughout the war?
He fell.
He fell at the end of the war. There were attempts to enter Onitsha from all angles. From our back.
I thought Murtala Mohammed went round and entered Onitsha.
He didn't enter Onitsha.
Onitsha was occupied.
Onitsha was occupied by the Biafran troops.
Throughout the war?
Of course, yes. Did Onitsha fall before January 10? Ahmadi made sure of that. Because their aim was Nnewi, don't forget. Ojuku's town.
Let's go back to Shoika.
Wole was our guest. We didn't know how to get to Wole. So when he called me and said, he doesn't call him Wole. Because he doesn't even call him Prof. He calls him playwright. He said, I must host playwright Wole Soyinka here. Bring him here. I flew back. Was asking every newsroom, Ghanaian Graphic, Ghanaian Times, all their magazines, because when it comes here, they said no. Eventually, I ran into a roadblock and said no. As if Emeka was monitoring me, he called me, said, come back to Africa Coast. I said, come back to Cote d'Ivoire. I have not finished the assignment. He said, come back to Cote d'Ivoire. I went back. He said, now I have information. Wole Soyinka will be in Accra next week. His best hotel is Avenida. You know Avenida? Say yes, sir. You know Avenida? I said, Your Excellency, I know Avenida. Vincent Obiano used to take me there. He won't be at Avenida this time. He will be with Rajat Muji, a Ugandan friend of his. And the Rajat Muji's office was a Darkmark house. Catching.
He ran the Transition magazine.
He ran a Transition magazine. And I went. That week elapsed. The next week, I went to Darkmark house, second floor. I met Gladys, beautiful secretary. I said, Gladys, I've been here once, you won't recognize it, but I came to buy a magazine. I have come for another mission. I hear Wole Soyinka is with your boss. I want to deliver a message. He said, who told me? I said, who told me it's not very important. Wole is here. I want to send a message. She gave me from an Africa. They ushered me in. Even before they offered seat to me, they wanted me. I said, I have come to deliver a message from General Ojukwu. Said, okay, now you can sit down. I said, no. I was able to extract from the playwright. He had this book. The very first week he came out from the printing press, I took to him at GRA. I gave it to him, Ukumbi. Wole knows me, miss my local flights. It's a rascal, so they cost. And I told Wole that His Excellency would like to see you. Say, yeah, I said, yes. When he said, at your earliest convenience, at your earliest convenience. It's okay. And he came. And you know, Emeka, after meeting with aid for about 3 hours or 3 days, you will never tell a second person what you discussed with it.
Was that secret?
That's his life.
Anyway, he's a soldier.
He's a soldier. So when I came back to, I said, Wole came. I hope talks went fine. He said, yes. We were able to arrive at a vast area of consensus. That was his language.
And Wole kept coming.
Oh, his son, they were personal friends.
You know, today, some young persons in Igbo land attack Wole Soyinka for not, they say he doesn't love the Igbo people.
No, they don't know what is happening.
Tell them what is happening. Tell them.
Wole doesn't hate Igbos. Let them come and ask me.
I'm asking now on their behalf.
No. There is no hatred that Wole can ever harbor against Igbos. I'm in a position to tell you.
Because Ojukwu in SI, Wole was always in the picture.
He was his companion. He was his comforter. It doesn't. When Wole comes and says he's leaving in the next 3 days, and I am leaving. Now lie. You keep him there for 3 weeks.
And before the war, he was a lead.
Oh yes. So who says Wole Soyinka? Tomorrow somebody will tell me that Dan Sholari hates the Igbos. How? When the street that leads to his house is Zogu Road leading to his personal house. I've been there more than 4 times for meetings.
And they were mostly Yorubas that stood with you when you were in prison.
When we were in exile and after the exile, when Emeka was to come back, those who supported, do you know how much Banabogunsowo spent on my tickets alone?
The editor of the Sunday Times.
Oh, yes. And Emeka was a slave of his column.
Bolakwa did not collect money from the Biafran
Not
network.
one couple.
And he did all those writing.
Oh, Emeka said that I should ask Balabo to give us a budget. Every time he's helping, he's organizing from Ibadan, he's organizing from Oshogo. Let him give us a little budget. We'll be able to meet it. Or does he think we are so poor? As I have explained everything, he won't take. If you give me money now to give to Balabo Gusomo, he will insult me at his number 3 Remeleku Crescent. That's why I'm meeting.
And he was such a good journalist.
Oh, Balabo Gusomo. You don't see his memos. Kanu, where are you? We have not to talk. What is wrong with you? It's all there. And the publisher, eminent, they omitted about 17 of his memos. There's some you will be abusing me. Kanu, mustn't you see me as soon as you came back from that trip? We're not close. We're not close. And Emeka not only loved him, he respected him.
So it got to a point Ojukwu wanted to return home. And resources were deployed. You and Poku began to ferry journalists from Ghana to Abidjan and back to tell you Ojukwu story. Media propaganda at work, right? And you later studied media in The Hague. And let me not forget, you were on your way to Germany to study media when you were arrested. Right? And you got a scholarship to do that.
I've always full of scholarship. Emeka will just make a call.
Tell me about that media campaign.
The media campaign was that we discovered that the Ghanaian media was very, very sympathetic to Biafra. Maybe because Ojukwu and Gowon and the rest of them, Mobolaji Johnson, David Joe, all of them, met in Aburi. That is a soft point for them. Soft spot. But their media, which is more vibrant sometimes than our own here, became so deeply sympathetic to Ojukwu. So allow this man to go back. His father is not a poor man. Let him, he will create more jobs there. Emeka sat me down one and said, these people are not writing this thing out of sentiment. They know the facts. Bring the editors. And our contact point was Opoku. We say, I said, editor will say, only say, make I bring all of you now, TBOT, yourself, Emmanuel Baz, all of you. To, he said, I can't move these top editors out of the country without telling intelligence. I have to go and tell them. I said, what is intelligence? He said, no, you can't move this level of people out of the country at the same time to a destination without telling intelligence. So he went and broke the head of the intelligence that Ojukwu wants to. So why not? Is he coming to overthrow the Ghanaian government? So Emeka arranged this funds, gave me the fund. I bought all the tickets, and we moved in the same aircraft. And of course, Emeka, the foreign child, wonderful boy, married to Ghanaian, moved us, all of us, to Hotel du Golf. Hotel du Golf was constructed by CLC, Emeka's company. Fantastic hotel. Moved all of them. I said, where is Ghana? Come to the office, let's conspire before you bring these people to my office tomorrow morning. And when we conspired, what they will eat, their welfare, their public relations. You know, we had people whose business was to make sure that our guests are happy. That they're happy, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So that's their job, you know. So, and they enjoyed their stay. They did. They enjoyed their stay.
They enjoyed Ojuku.
They enjoyed his rhetorics. They enjoyed his etiquette.
You know, he's a smooth talker.
He's brilliant. People say his English is. They don't know that his French at a point became better than his English. Yet his English was superb. His French was boom.
And he was a man of history.
Oh, he was not sent to London by his father to read history. He was sent to go and read law because of the nature of the properties his father was acquiring. The beggar went there and read history.
In exile, he was reading newspapers from all over the world.
He reads like Emeka can finish this book in 2 days.
He was a voracious reader.
He was a voracious reader. You can say that again.
And readers are leaders.
He was a voracious reader.
And when that media campaign started
in Accra,
it was clear Ojukwu was coming home.
Yes. But he wasn't coming home to Ghana. He's coming home to Nigeria. So we needed to ignite the fire in Nigeria.
So at that point, you were in Nigeria by 1980.
Emeka had pushed me. I entered Nigeria December 29, 1979. Shehu Shagari had taken over board.
And the negotiation began.
The Chobo Kalibo played a critical role. Now, let me tell you something that people don't know. And I think I tried to capture it in the book. Emeka sat down with Emeka and I. And he asked if I must go home. The Ghanaians are putting fire, yes. If I must go home, Ghana must go home first. The man said they will arrest him again or choke him. He said no. There's a democratic dispensation there. It's not a military regime. So I came here 29th December. 29th December or 24th December 1979. Shehu Shagari was already in power for about 3 months. But at that particular meeting, Emeka had spotted one man they called Chobo Kalibo, who visited him in Omaya during the war as a student in US with George Obios. So Emeka said, whatever we are doing for my homecoming, the target must be his political advice. It was then that he defined for us the scope, the parameters of that office.
Chobo Kalibo was the political advisor to
the
Shagari.
President of the Republic. So he told me, that is your target. But I must do you service. So he was patient for me to finish your service in the state. As soon as I finished joining NT, he said, now, target.
Before you joined NT, you worked with the New Breed magazine.
Yes.
For just 3 months.
I ran away.
You ran away. Because of the temper of the editor.
Yes.
Sorry.
You can't walk with Chris. So Emeka had that I had resigned. He was so angry. Because that was the only magazine that had the courage, editorial courage, to publish when he was in exile.
He went to NTA. Through the powers of Olu Onogorua.
Olu put pressure. A D hero
began to operate.
I began to operate, and you don't just go to political advisor to the president. And I had to contrive a scenario that would be acceptable to our boss, Victor Folivi. I told Folivi that I want to interview the political advisor to the president. I'm in the newsroom. I'm a newsroom staff. He told me that before you go to interview him, can I have the questions you want to? In less than 20 minutes, I finished the question. I arranged the questions, took it to the secretary. They typed it. I went upstairs, left it. He called me. It's okay. He called Alhaji Salam Salahuddin. He said, Salahuddin, you are accompanying to State House tomorrow to interview the political advisor. And that's how I was meeting Choba for the first time in my life.
And when you got to that office, you left your crew outside.
Yes.
And went for your own personal mission.
Yes, because that was the prime motive of the interview in the first place.
And when you introduced yourself to Chuba,
he wasn't ready to listen to me. He wasn't giving me attention. He thought I was a mole.
Until Obiozo came in.
God is wonderful. I wrote it in the book, The Providence. Any person who calls me Kisco knew me in secondary school at that one moment. So when he came, say, Kisco, what are you doing here? I said, I have a message from our general. He said, Emeka? I said, yes, sir. But Chuba is not giving me attention. He's not giving me any. It wasn't even sitting down. Just, there's a nickname he calls Chuba. If there's any person in this country now that can speak for Neko Chuba, now, is this your man? It was then that Chuba started listening to me. So, in 3 minutes, George went back to his office because they all work in the presidency. He said, now, what's the message you're doing? And he says, he wants to talk to you. And that, if you don't mind, both of us can go. Would you like to talk to him now? He said, yes. I wrote the number. I called his secretary. He came upstairs. Put us on. Sir, je parle avec mon général. Can I speak to my general? As his secretary, and he's ready. He drew. He hooked us on.
His secretary was a Jew.
Yes. An Israeli.
An Israeli.
Yes.
She must have been an intelligence officer.
We don't know. He will tell you that. So he hooked us on, and Emeka was KBC above. That's the first sentence in KBC. Where are you calling me from? See, when you say, I'm above from Chobo Karibo's office. Let me talk to that rascal.
He called Chuba a rascal.
Yes. So, the call was transferred to the desk. I was talking to him through my office. And they talked for a long time. That was the beginning of my trip to Cote d'Ivoire with
Chuba.
But Choba insisted he won't come alone, that he will come with George Obiozo. So 3 of us, they avoided me.
They didn't take the same plane with you?
No. Because they knew, they're in government. They know that they are monitoring me. I knew security was monitoring me at that time.
But you were not a threat at that time?
No, I was no longer a threat.
It was a friendly government.
It was a friendly government, and the American and Nigeria, the strategist was not there. Mecca was not there. Mecca was at Nsukka. He had finished his PhD in America, come back and was teaching.
You had to sacrifice your own PhD.
Oh, yes.
To make sure you could return home.
Oh, yes. He didn't want me to go beyond the master's degree at the I could have been at University of Lund.
In Sweden?
In Sweden. When Sonika wrote a letter to NIIA, Bolaji Akinyemi, to employ me that I could have been in Sweden.
So what was the trip to Abidjan like?
With Choba,
Yeah.
he received it like a king. I went on Air Afrique, then went on Nigeria Airways. So I arrived first. Emeka said, where are our visitors? If we go to office without our visitors, Emeka will be mad at us. I said, no, they are coming. So if they are not coming, I would have told you on phone. They are coming. But they are coming on another flight. 1.5 hours or so, they landed. I said, those are the people, when they do like this, go and get them.
You wore Agbada.
They don't want one. And they landed. And they will put them in vehicle straight. Emeka was already waiting at home.
It was a good discussion.
Oh, yes, I sat in.
At that point, Chuba Okadibu took it as a mission.
He took it as a project and a mission.
He introduced you to Dr. Tahir.
Introduced me to Dr. Tahir.
And even the Minister of Works.
No, he was then the chairman of NITED.
I'm talking about the Minister of Works. Was
Victor Massey.
Yeah.
Victor was in the project line for Emeka's coming. And don't forget that Victor was a captain with Biafra Army engineers. So he was very sympathetic, but he didn't want to be right there at the forefront. He said, have you talked to Tahir? I said, we're just coming out of his hotel. That's not a hotel, that's a massive. He was in a suite of about 4 or 5 rooms.
Dr. Tahir likes discussion.
Ooh, he's an intellectual.
He kept talking.
He kept talking. We told him we have an appointment. We have an appointment with Massey. When we are stood up, he will bring the shortcomings of apartheid regime in South Africa and how they were reconstructing agriculture there.
He was knowledgeable.
He's an academic.
And together they ensured the return of Ojukwu to Nigeria.
He assured me and Vincent that Emeka was coming.
He was a member of the inner circle of
He
the
was
Shagari
the
government.
inner circle of Shagari regime. So Choba knew why he nominated him.
At some point, Ojukwu held a meeting with Shinkafi in London.
Yes.
He was the head of Nigeria's intelligence security.
Yes. Emeka didn't tell us. Me and Vincent and Mark.
Until he came back from the trip.
Until he came back.
That is the mark of a general.
Yes. He didn't tell us.
Now, you needed to sort out Tai Sholari.
Yes.
Tell me about that man.
Tai visited me. Huh? God created human beings. Tai visited me at number 18 Oluwalumi Street in Kenya. I was then living in room and parlor with my wife. I just finished using it. And we kept talking. So when Emeka insisted that I cannot come home without telling the sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. I carried this message to Walabogun. So I said, Emeka said that I should go and talk to Tai Sholari. We went to Tai Sholari and I told Tai that Emeka had a message for Chief Obafemi Awolowo. He said, what's the nature of the message? I said, when we go there, you sit into the meeting, I will deliver it. He said, it can't be today. You should come back next week. He wants to arrange. And he arranged. The meeting was to be held next week. We arrived on time. Vin drove. Vin is here. Vin is here. Vin drove in. We drove in Vin's car. Time said we should park our car. We parked our car and we moved into his own car. A little dark yellow. I don't know how to do it. It's a Range Rover. We are the reception, the door of that reception. What the road there was situation. I copied it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Time was not coming out of the room. When he came, he made us sign that we should go. He said, dog, let me face talk because Vin couldn't recover. I'm going to see him the chief. He said, no, I will tell you people. It was in the car that he said that after narrating our mission and who sent us, that the chief said, I have no attitude.
I don't have an attitude yet.
I don't have an attitude.
That's what Awolowo was said to tie.
To die, he didn't tell us directly.
And tie relayed the message
to us, and we relayed it to Emeka.
No, I've been thinking, I don't have an attitude yet. What does it mean?
It was meaningless. To Emeka, it was meaningless. But Emeka is not the man you can discourage easily. He told us to, don't let that hamper your efforts. Concentrate on them.
Why did you go through Bolanko Ogunso? He was an award man.
Yes, he was an award person, but Bolanko said, "Time will take us."
And tidy. Because Awolowo did not see you.
But he never physically saw.
And you were looking forward to seeing Awu.
I was enthusiastic to see that historic figure. I've always liked it. I tell you something. When I came back to Nigeria in 1979, of course, you go to the village to get your there's something calls it. I went to the village to get blessing from my dad. It was in the process of going to the village that I asked myself, I must ask Papa this question. I said, Papa, in this 1979 election you just said, whom did you vote for? Say, I don't know who vote for now. Who else will I vote for except my master? He has been voting for since 1940 something. They don't know something vote for now who is sick. The man didn't even allow me to land. So, if I were here, I would vote for Awu. I know Awu. I would have gave him 20 pounds. I would have did this. I would have see, but the man saw free education, free health, and integrated rural development. Three policies that could have changed the format of this country. When I go to school, we not go to school. I voted for my master. I've been voting for him since 1943. My father told me. So those stereotypes, those old people, you can't talk them out of their thinking.
If you had the opportunity to have voted in that election, who would you have voted
for? UPN.
Would have voted for him?
Yes.
But some people say he betrayed Biafra during the war.
That was during the war, but we are talking about UPN. What does it represent?
Did he betray Biafra?
Emeka was saying that he thought he would be more sympathetic than he was.
That was all.
He would end the sentence there.
But he didn't break any agreement.
No.
There was no agreement.
No.
Because after that meeting in the
He said he never saw him when he came out of Calabar prison. That's what he told me. And Emeka doesn't exaggerate. So there
was no agreement. And one did not promise that he would do.
He said when he came to government house in Enugu, the person who saw him officially on his behalf was Saliu.
Who released Awolowo from prison in Calabar? Was it Gowon or Uju?
No, it's Yakubu. It's a federal government something.
But by this time,
but Emeka has sent vehicle to convey him from Calabar to him. He sent a vehicle to give him the hug.
You know, to confirm to you at the time that the 5 majors in Zogu that he plans to hand over to Awolowo, to confirm that to you.
He didn't confirm to me, but he was talking to Ghanaian journalists.
And he said that.
And he said that.
That what?
Yes.
That
the 5 majors who carried out the January 15th coup, that is, their main primary objective was releasing Calabar prison and making the prime minister. And make us to the Ghanaian people.
and you were there listening.
Then I brought them. I'm like their chief host. I'm their chief host.
So you love that one.
Oh, yes.
And you really wanted to see.
I want that dream that could have afforded me the opportunity, the rare opportunity of shaking hands with the hero of my political conscience was denied me by Dai. Dai said he hasn't.
Was it tied that Nnamdi or I wouldn't want to see?
He didn't want to see